Number 9, Clemson goes undefeated all the way to the ACC title and kind of duplicates what Oregon did in the regular season last year. There have been a lot of people, myself included, that have buried Sweeney. Buried him. I thought his stubbornness to go fully into the portal was going to mean that his teams were not competitive enough on the grand scale to, compete at a high level. And my original theory on my first appearance on your show ever back in 2018 or 19, whatever it was now, 2020, I have no idea when it was. But I said it, and you're like, this guy's going to be on my show more. But like that they weren't recruiting at a high enough level to maintain annual contendership the way that Ohio State, Georgia, and Alabama were at the time. And like there were a lot of different tea leaves that you can read for Clemson in terms of their downfall. And by the way, was kind of right because they weren't and haven't been what they were in the 2016-17 years. That said, we are here in 2025, Andy, and they have a really, really good team, and they play in a very, very winnable conference. Of all the Power 5 conference champions, I think that Clemson winning the ACC is the easiest prediction to make. Far easier than picking the winner of the Big 12, SEC, or Big 10. I think that it's a just baseline fact that they're probably just going to be in the playoff. And like to make it a little bit juicier, I said undefeated. That means that they will beat LSU in the opener, and they will go wire to wire in the ACC, winning all their games. And I think part of this
means they'll beat South Carolina too. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think when I originally read your list, I kind of glossed over this one. I was like, oh, that's not really much of a take, because I was thinking undefeated through the ACC because that's really all they have to do to make the playoff. But this also means, yes, they would beat LSU and they would beat South Carolina, which I don't think that's very easy. I think that's quite difficult.
Yeah.
Especially considering South Carolina's on the road, especially considering at that point, if they have beaten LSU and they have marched through the ACC, that grand scheme, that game won't mean as much to them, but it's a rivalry game. So of course it'll mean something. And they lost to them last year. So of course it'll mean something. But it's hard to go 12-0. It's hard to go 13-0 win the conference championship game.
Tinfoil hat Thursday?
Go for it.
You think Dabo Sweeney would be spouting off all these things about being the first team ever to go 16-0? They were the first team to go 15-0, the first team to ever go 16-0 if he didn't love his team? Or do you think that was just Dabo being
He
Dabo?
loves his team. And I think if we broke down every team, would Clemson be the one with the fewest question marks?
I think it would be up there with Oregon and Penn State and Ohio. Well, no. I think
they have fewer question marks than any of those teams.
Yeah, I guess if you were to rank the two teams that have the fewest question marks, it would be the two teams that are in the top of the polls, Penn State and Clemson, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because even Clemson has
Penn State has the receiver question mark. We ain't worried about whether Clemson has good receivers. They do.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that with Penn State either anymore now. I think they have good receivers.
I'm worried about it till I see it.
Yeah.
Like Clemson, we've already seen it.
Clemson has a true freshman running back who's just a stud too.
Yeah.
They've got guys at every layer of on both sides of the ball, for sure.
Yeah.
And the thing that I love about Clemson that I think will, to borrow your phrase, travel more than anything is their defensive line is going to be nasty. Mm-hmm. And I think that the reason why I came around to the 15-0 thing is A, what Dabo was saying, but B, I was thinking about LSU's number one weakness last year and the thing that they want to fix the most, which is the inability to run the ball in crucial situations. And the fact that they're going to
as Peter Woods appears on the screen,
they're going against a team that's going to be incredibly hard to do against with the additions of Will Helt at the end position. Like Clemson's defensive line can beat you by itself, I think.
And what is LSU's biggest question mark? Offensive line.
It's tough. It's a tough go of it.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why I'm leaning Clemson in the first week, while also believing that LSU could be a playoff team or an SEC contender. I still just think that Clemson is a notch above some of these other teams. And it turned out that like the ability to maintain a roster and keep it together while also adding important pieces through the portal, it wasn't a lot, but it was important, makes Clemson all of a sudden a more well-rounded team in a era that might have overcorrected in the portal. Like, well, it was wrong at first, now it might be right.
I think we we overestimated how much the NIL era would affect Dabo Swinney. We thought he would handle that poorly. And so the NIL era and the transfer portal, they're the same and they're related, but they are different. Dabo's philosophy is, I'm going to recruit, and it is a deep philosophy. And you and I have actually had discussions about how he offers people, how you can't take official visits anywhere else if you're committed to Clemson. All of that stuff. All of that is in the service of creating a cohesive team that understands one another, that loves one another, that will play as one. The transfer portal is anathema to that.
Mm-hmm. The antithesis of, there are certain words I have a hard time pronouncing.
It is a tough one.
Of Clemson is like what Oklahoma State's dealing with this year. Like somebody tweeted on Wednesday, I saw it, and I wish I was better about writing down things that like caught my eye, but somebody's like, gun to your head right now, could you name a single player on Oklahoma State's roster? And it wasn't to make fun of Oklahoma State. It was just a thought to show you that their roster turned over so much that it's incredibly hard to keep track of who's even there anymore.
Yeah.
And like Clemson keeping together their team makes you feel good in terms of the
Yeah, well, right. You remember when these guys got recruited by Clemson. Like I remember when Sammy Brown committed to Clemson.
Yeah.
I remember when Chris Vizina committed to Clemson. That's their backup quarterback who's still there.
Now, this is all a thought exercise because we haven't seen Clemson play yet. The thing that would be a real drag, and I don't know if this will actually happen, but is if Clemson, goes 15-0 and then gets matched up with a super team at the end of the year, or what's left of super teams. They play an Alabama or they play a Georgia or an Ohio State or something at the end of the season in the playoff after going 15-0 and then get the Oregon fate, which is we are really, really good and much better than most teams, but still not good enough to beat the teams that are.
The change in the seeding process, I think, fixes that.
Right.
So they probably don't have to see that team.
Not out of the gate anyway, yeah.
Yeah. 2, I think they can hang with those teams because I think those teams are not so much deeper than Clemson like they may have been a couple of years ago.
But the Clemson question has never been about, are they good enough to dominate the ACC? The Clemson question is if they'll ever be good enough again to win the national title.
Right.
And that's what we're waiting to see. Before we completely correct course and stop criticizing Dabo Swinney for his lack of roster flipping, I think we need to see them stand on the same field with one of the 3 best teams in college football and play them for 4 quarters.
If Dabo does this, if he pulls this off, I think he should be able to laugh in every one of our faces for the entire offseason.
If Dabo wins another national
we all buried him,
he will be, in my mind, firmly cemented as the second best coach of our generation.
Behind Nick Saban, who's probably the best ever.
We're not going to play that game. Although there are certain elements of what Dabo Swinney is doing that I think would be more impressive than what Nick Saban did, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah. It would be the ultimate vindication. All of the criticism he took.
Building a program, winning in multiple eras, doing it the same way, I think would be something.
Yeah. Yeah. And especially because he was right and we all were wrong. And there is something to keeping a team together, going through some stuff together, and figuring it out.
As I was looking through hotels for us, because we're going to the LSU game in Clemson, I saw some hotels in Spartanburg, and I laughed because I thought about that caller from Spartanburg.
Tyler!
From Spartanburg. And I don't know how far away Spartanburg is from Clemson, but it made me laugh.
It's not far. And I do wonder what Tyler's thinking. I don't think Tyler was a plant, by the way. I think all of that was real. And
let's find that guy. I would have him on the show.
We should have Tyler from Spartanburg on the show because I wonder. Now, look, if they lose to LSU, Tyler from Spartanburg is probably going to call in and be like, see, told you so. But I think they have a very good chance of competing for a national title this year.
Yep.
I'm excited to see Clemson play.
Yeah, 15-0.